When you are throwing utility in CS2, you want to be spending as little time as possible in the open. When we are in the open without our gun out, of course we are going to be vulnerable to anyone peeking us. So what you want to be doing, if you want to throw a flash into Big Grudge for example, instead of just pulling out your flash in the open, running and throwing it, what you want to be doing is tuck behind a box, pull out your flash, re-peek, throw the flash, and then tuck back behind the box. That way you're lowering the chance of you getting timing by one of the CTs peeking into you, because you're going to be spending less time in the open without your gun out. Another way to show this is if you're ever nading door and throwing a nade into mini or into the vent. So if we were throwing a smoke towards mini, you don't want to HE the door, sit here, wait for the door to break, and then throw your smoke. Because if anyone starts towards mini, as soon as the door breaks, they're going to be able to shoot you when you have the nade out. So what you can do is while the nade is landing, you can throw the smoke before the door even breaks. And because the smoke has to travel, the door will break in time. Alright, so the next mistake is throwing fall away flashes or bad fake utility. Alright, I'm gonna go straight into an example, and that example is imagine we have brackets control on Inferno T side, and our team just called we want to go back towards B. Some people might say, okay, we're going back towards B, I'm gonna throw a flash towards Arch to fake that we're taking control, and think that that is applying pressure to keep the CTs towards A. The problem is you have to think of the round from the CT's perspective. If I'm a CT and I'm spotting Arch, and I see one flash come in and I'm able to dodge it and re-peek and get the info, I'm gonna call that this is clear and they didn't take any space with the flash, and more than likely if a T is throwing a flash and they don't actually take any space with it, it's probably going to be a fake, especially in the later parts of the round. So your fake flash might have told the CT that was going to stay here anyway to rotate towards B because now he thinks it's a fake. If you really want to apply pressure in the later part of the rounds because you want to end towards the other side of the map, you have to use something like a smoke that will cut off the CTs from getting any sort of information unless they go through, which is unlikely. Or you have to actually use the flashes you're throwing and take space with numbers. This way the CTs will spot you and fall back, giving up the information. Then you can walk away and go back towards the other side of the map. But just throwing some sort of like random fake flash is probably going to do more harm than good. Alright, another mistake I see a lot of people making is not communicating what you can do when you rotate into a bomb site. Alright, so for example, you're on CT side Mirage and you're rotating towards A to help reinforce the bomb site. A lot of the people will just run over here without saying anything and then just come double spawn. And the anchor is sitting here just jump spotting like normal, but he's completely unaware that you even rotated in because you said nothing. And he's not going to be looking at his minimap because he's focused on what he's doing, which is jump spotting and holding palace and ramp. When you're rotating over, you should be communicating to him that you're on the way, and you can even tell him to throw something like a smoke onto ramp and tell him to get into the bomb site because you're going to come to ticket and jump spot for him. But if you take too long and wait until you get all the way to here and now you're both spawned, there's a chance that the T's are already executing and now you're just double spawn, which isn't horrible but not as good as if you just reinforce the bomb site altogether. Or even worse, your teammate's going to start moving into the bomb site and then the execute's going to come in while he's in the middle of the open and he's probably going to die because you're both going to be blind to the flashes. So just make sure that when you're rotating into the site you are communicating to your team, because this anchor has to focus on his crosshair and what he's looking at in front of him. When you're running in spawn and safe, you have the freedom of talking as much as you want and you communicate the setup that you want to get into. Alright, and real quick before I go into the last couple of tips, I do want to say thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Skins Monkey. Skins Monkey is an automated trading site that allows you to take some of your old skins and trade them in for some new ones. There are a ton of skins on the site, but if you're looking for something specific, you can use the filter to find the skin that you're looking for. And when you're making your first trade on the site, make sure to use my code GRAPE for a bonus of up to $5 for free. If you see a skin on the site that you want and you don't have one of equal value, you can also deposit money with a 30% bonus plus an extra 5% if you use my code GRAPE at checkout. And even if you don't have anything to trade, they do free giveaways every single day, so there's literally nothing to lose by joining Skins Monkey. So just make sure to use the link in my description and have fun trading. On Mirage, but also a few other maps, I see a lot of people just butt their head against the wall and keep taking mid control on CT because it feels like what you're supposed to do when the T's keep giving it to you. But the problem is, mid is not a bomb site. Yes, getting mid control is very strong for the CTs. It allows you to reinforce the bomb sites and also gives you an avenue to flank if you have the time, but none of that really matters if the T's are running down your anchors, getting the 4v5 and the bomb down, while your cat, window, and con player are committed to mid and nowhere near the bomb sites to help your anchors. So while you can start a game by taking mid control, if you notice that the T's just keep going into the bomb sites over and over again, send more numbers towards the bomb sites and either stack them or push out the extremities together. So if the T's have been hitting bomb sites a lot, we don't know if they're going to go A or B, so stacking 3 towards A is going to be a pretty big risk because the T's could just go straight to B. So what we can do is actually just push together towards ramp. If the T's are here, there's a good chance we catch them off guard throwing nades, and if there's nobody here, we're going to have all the info that the T's are not A and be able to instantly rotate towards B and then stack that side of the map. Basically, all I'm trying to say is don't just keep taking mid control if the T's give it to you because maybe that's what they want, and understand that the bomb sites are more important than mid. Alright, the last mistake is what you saw in the thumbnail, and that is throwing the old CSGO top mid smoke. The smoke is just not even close to as good as the smoke we can throw now. If anyone is con, they can spot you crossing the boxes, so all you have to do is just come to the side of the trash can, aim at the tip of the antenna like this, and left click throw. The smoke will land here, and that way no one towards con can see us crossing the boxes, and we are also much safer from valley, and we can get the boxes very easily. But yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about in today's video. If you have you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. You can also ask me any questions in my Discord or my Twitch chat when I'm live. If you're interested in coaching or demo reviews, I have a link for that in the description as well. But yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.